Becky.
Hiya, my name's Rebecca, but most people call me Bex, and I'm proud to be a brain tumour survivor. Just bear with me though, I'm actually very, very nervous about doing this. Just to provide you with the story leading up to my diagnosis, I was diagnosed with an inoperable low-grade astrocytoma and hydrocephalus when I was 13 years old. It came after 2 years of migraines that would most likely occur at night and would wake me up and presented with all the usual symptoms of migraines, such as being sick, blurred vision, and slurred speech. However, I knew that there was more than just migraines and that the cause of this was something more. I had several visits to the doctors, which always resulted in me giving migraine relief medication or being told this was normal as I was hormonal. I do remember one particular doctor calling me silly and ridiculous for thinking that I had a brain tumour as I was just a child and did not know what I was talking about. I will always remember clearly how I felt after that, and I generally did question myself and did wonder whether he was right, and it was all in my head. Pardon the pun. I then had a suspected minor stroke in the August 2005, and this migraine occurred during the day, which was rare after a visit to the dentist. I had a filling and had to have the tooth numbed, so when I began getting a migraine, me and my parents just assumed that I was having a reaction to this. But this migraine was bad, probably one of the worst I'd experienced. I couldn't see, I couldn't talk, and it was like I was paralysed. But to cut a long story short, I was taken to Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, where I was seen by a lovely group of healthcare professionals. But I'd started to feel better, and by this time it was 6 o'clock in the morning. So the doctor gave me the option of waiting around for a CT scan or going home to rest. Obviously, I chose the latter. But fast forward a couple of months, and I was referred to another doctor within QMC, who, after another appointment of me being called silly for thinking I had a brain tumour, referred me for a CT scan due to my mum demanding it as she was sick of being fobbed off. On November the 24th, 2005, I had a CT scan where they found the brain tumour. Honestly, when I was told, I felt so relieved. I knew my body and knew something was not right. And after being told years of nothing serious, I had the diagnosis I'd waited for. I never felt scared, worried, or anxious when I received the news. I just remember feeling so much relief and like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. My family felt shocked and overwhelmed. I still remember that day. I've never seen my dad jump out of a moving car, but that day he did, because he was so shocked. My sister was only 12, so she's blocked this time out quite a bit because she was so traumatic. But I'd be so excited whenever she came to see me because she always had the ability to make me laugh and make me feel that sense of normality that I wanted so much. I was admitted to QMC that same day and everything explained in more detail to me by the doctors. Dr. Maria Cartmill, she did my first surgery. They said my brain tumour was a concern, but the more concern was the hydrocephalus, as this was causing so much pressure within my brain and that needed to be sorted. So I underwent brain surgery, where I had a biopsy and a temporary drain was inserted into my head to drain the fluid buildup. After having this draining for about a week, I underwent further surgery to have a permanent VP shunt inserted that would help drain the excess fluid permanently and help stop my migraines. Within this time, I met my first oncology consultant, Professor Richard Grundy. He explained that due to the slow-growing nature of my brain tumour, he did not want to begin any further treatment just yet. Instead, he wanted to have monthly scans to monitor the growth. But after a number of scans, my brain tumour was showing signs of growing, so it was decided that I begin a 2-year course of chemotherapy. And due to the position of my tumour, radiotherapy was not an option. So on the 6th of June 2006, I began chemotherapy, which was grueling and made me very unwell, but I got through it thanks to my wonderful family and the fantastic professionals at Queen's Medical Centre. 2 years later, in March 2008, I completed my treatment and continued to have scans every 3 months to monitor it. Throughout that time, my tumour did like to misbehave, but I did not have to undergo any further treatment. Sorry, do you mind holding that? Thank you. When I was 18, I did have another operation on my tumour, to confirm whether it had changed at all. But no further treatment or operations happened after this, and it has been stable for about 10 years now. I no longer require any treatment for my tumour. that I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 20, so I'm on medication for this. Even though I was only 13, I did understand everything that was happening as it was explained by the medical professionals so well. However, I did experience a lot of my friends that sorry if I get emotional, that I'd made during my time in hospital, losing their battle with cancer and passing away. And this did make me question how long I had got. I remember thinking, well, if they've died, surely my time is soon. I do always remember thinking if there was any light at the end of the tunnel when I was going through the treatment, because there was so much loss happening around me. And I was always in hospital for some reason, whether it was for blood transfusion, platelets, or due to an infection. Looking towards my future at that time was hard. My life has been affected by my tumour and the treatment I had. I do suffer from later physical health effects, such as chronic fatigue, and I do struggle with mobility. They weren't explained to me, but since Nikki and Dr. MacArthur have set up the Late Effects Clinic at Queen's Medical Centre, it's helped me realise that's what I suffer with. I did feel very supported during my time, but there are services that are offered to people now that were not around when I was diagnosed. For example, I think family counselling would have been very good for my family, and sibling counselling in particular would have benefited my younger sister immensely. I also did my dissertation. I've completed my degree in July. I did actual my dissertation on late effects of children with brain tumours who got diagnosed when they were, thank you. A very niche subject, and it's hard because I was like thinking of my own experience, and my dissertation supervisor to be like, you've got to take yourself out of that situation. And I have got a few quotes, but I don't really want to share them because they're personal to the people that did it. But a lot of the same things, fatigue, a lot of them have got problems with fertility. One girl went through menopause really early. So, it's a lot is to do with that after. That a lot of people, when they tell you, you don't realise how bad these late effects actually are, and that once you've finished treatment, everyone thinks, oh, you finished, but these late effects do really affect you. So I just thought I'd mention that a little bit. I feel good now. The fatigue and mobility issues will always be effects that I have to deal with, but I do my best to manage them. Oh God, I feel like I'll cry again. I'm so lucky to be here, and in some ways, I'm a miracle. I owe my life to all the wonderful doctors, surgeons, and nurses at QMC, as they literally saved my life. I would like to give a special thanks to Professor Grundy, Professor Walker, Dr. MacArthur, and my amazing nurse, Nikki Webb. If I could give any advice to my younger self or someone else facing a brain tumour diagnosis, it would be to always remain positive, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. The strength, bravery, and resilience you develop is amazing, and this will be a huge benefit to you later in life. You can do anything you put your mind to, because going through surgery and treatment is so hard that honestly you can pretty much face everything that life throws at you. I am so lucky to be here 20 years later. There were times during treatments that I did not think I would be. Everything I went through and experienced has made me the person I am today, which I will forever be grateful for. My brain tumour does not define me, but I would not be without her now. Yes, I have named her. Her name is Tina. She is a part of me and proof that there are survivors that live on and have amazing lives. I want to just give a quick mention to my dad, my sister, my mum, who unfortunately passed away 11 years ago, but I've not got through that without them. Sorry. It was a really, really hard time for all of us. But it made us stronger, and I'm just grateful that I had them. And like I say, all the professionals at QMC, people like to try and sometimes slate the NHS, but honestly, if it wasn't for you lot, I wouldn't be here. You literally saved my life. Sorry.